The Bell Witch. In the early 19th century, on the fog-shrouded frontier of Adams, Tennessee, a family's life was about to be torn apart by one of the most terrifying and enigmatic hauntings in American history. The legend of the Bell Witch is one steeped in mystery, malevolence, and an unspeakable darkness that still lingers in the shadows of the rural South. The story begins in 1817, when John Bell, a prosperous farmer, and his family began experiencing a series of strange and inexplicable events at their homestead. The Bell family had moved to the Red River area years earlier, seeking a peaceful life on the fertile land they had claimed. But the serenity of their existence was shattered when they encountered something far beyond their understanding. It started with odd noises, scratching sounds on the walls, the distant echoes of what seemed like chains dragging across the wooden floors, and faint whispers that floated through the still night air. At first, the Bells dismissed these as the creaks and groans of an old house settling, the rustling of the wind through the trees. But the noises persisted, growing louder, more insistent, until they became impossible to ignore. Then, the phenomena escalated. The children, especially young Betsy Bell, began to experience violent disturbances. Their beds would shake violently in the dead of night, as if trying to throw them from their resting places. Covers were ripped away by unseen hands, leaving the children exposed to the cold, unforgiving air. Objects would disappear, only to reappear in the most unexpected places. And then, there were the voices, low, guttural murmurs that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once, whispering threats, curses, and strange incantations. But it was the physical attacks on Betsy that truly terrified the family. She would be struck, slapped, pinched, and scratched by an invisible force, leaving her body bruised and battered. Her long hair would be yanked by unseen hands, and she would be flung across the room as if by some malevolent spirit determined to cause her harm. Betsy's cries of pain and fear echoed through the house, but there was nothing the Bells could do to stop the relentless torment. John Bell, a man of faith and reason, was at a loss. He sought help from friends and neighbors, who, after witnessing the strange events themselves, could offer no explanation. Word of the Bell Witch quickly spread through the community, drawing curiosity, fear, and speculation. Some believed that the family had been cursed by a malevolent spirit, while others whispered of witchcraft and dark rituals. Desperate for answers, John Bell invited clergymen and even skeptics to his home, hoping that someone might help rid them of the supernatural terror that had taken hold. But the entity, whatever it was, seemed to grow stronger in the presence of these outsiders, mocking their prayers and defying their attempts to banish it. It spoke in a voice that was both human and inhuman, taunting John Bell, promising that it would bring about his demise. The voice identified itself as Kate, and it soon became known as the Bell Witch. Kate seemed to take a perverse pleasure in tormenting John Bell, singling him out as the target of her most vicious attacks. She cursed him relentlessly, vowing to see him dead. No one knew why John had incurred the wrath of the Bell Witch, but her hatred was palpable, a force as real and deadly as any blade. As the months turned into years, the Bell Witch's hauntings became more frequent, more violent. The entity's influence extended beyond the Bell household, with neighbors reporting strange occurrences and sightings of shadowy figures lurking in the woods surrounding the farm. Animals behaved erratically, crops failed, and a dark cloud seemed to hang over the entire community. John Bell's health began to deteriorate rapidly under the relentless assault of the Bell Witch. He was plagued by mysterious ailments, his body wasting away as if drained of life itself. Despite the best efforts of doctors and the prayers of the clergy, nothing could reverse his decline. The Bell Witch, meanwhile, continued her campaign of terror, her voice growing stronger, her threats more chilling. In December 1820, John Bell was found dead in his bed, his face twisted in agony. By his side was a small vial of an unknown substance, later discovered to be a deadly poison. The Bell Witch claimed responsibility for his death, laughing with a cold, hollow glee that sent shivers down the spines of all who heard it. "I fixed him," the witch declared. "I gave old Jack Bell a big dose of that last night, which fixed him." The death of John Bell should have marked the end of the Bell Witch's reign of terror, but it did not. The entity continued to torment the family, especially Betsy, who remained the focus of the witch's wrath. Despite this, Betsy managed to find love and became engaged to a young man named Joshua Gardner. But the Bell Witch would not allow Betsy to find happiness. The entity tormented the couple relentlessly, driving a wedge between them until Betsy, fearing for Joshua's safety, broke off the engagement. In the spring of 1821, after nearly 4 years of terror, the Bell Witch finally declared that she would leave the family, but not before promising to return in 7 years. True to her word, the entity returned in 1828, but her visit was brief and much less violent. She spoke to John Bell Jr., John Bell's son, about the past, present, and future, making predictions that would haunt the family for generations. The Bell Witch's final departure left the Bell family and the entire community of Adams, Tennessee, forever changed. The haunting had taken its toll, leaving scars both physical and psychological that would never fully heal. The story of the Bell Witch spread far beyond the borders of Tennessee, becoming a part of American folklore, a cautionary tale of malevolence, mystery, and the supernatural. To this day, the legend of the Bell Witch endures, passed down through generations, whispered around campfires, and immortalized in books, films, and documentaries. The Bell Witch Cave, located near the original Bell Farm, is said to be the final resting place of the entity, and it remains a site of eerie fascination for those brave enough to visit. Some claim to have seen strange lights, heard disembodied voices, or felt an oppressive presence lingering in the air. Whether the Bell Witch was a vengeful spirit, a curse, or something far more sinister, her story serves as a chilling reminder of the unknown forces that may dwell just beyond the veil of our understanding. The Bell Witch may have left the Bell family, but her legacy continues to haunt the minds and imaginations of all who hear her tale.